Hi, this is Becky Mader, and I am here with a presentation on tort liability. So first of all, we'll talk about the definition of tort. Tort is a common law jurisdiction. It's a civil wrong that causes someone to suffer harm or loss. There is legal liability involved, and it is relevant for schools for several reasons, and we're going to go over a couple of court cases right now and talk about how it applies. So the first case was a Supreme Court case in 1998. It involved sexual harassment of students by a school employee. In this case, it was off campus. The student brought the suit against the school, and the liability could only be imposed, according to the Supreme Court, if someone who has the minimum authority to address the discrimination was deliberately indifferent to the harassment. So the Supreme Court did conclude that a school could be liable for damages to a student due to such harassment by a teacher, but in this case, the school was not liable. So looking at some reactive measures here, conferencing with the accused teacher, looking at documentation, giving some guidance and clear expectations, protecting the students with an emphasis on student safety at all times. Those things are all very important. Proactively making sure that those expectations are clearly outlined and communicated well. There would be utilizing strong interviewing processes and being solid with your hiring and your evaluation practices. Professional ethics would be sound morals, professionalism, and of course, compassion for children. So the next case that we're going to talk about is a high school case. Civil rights action was brought against the school district alleging that the student had made threats to shoot other students. So it violated his First Amendment freedom of speech rights was what the student had brought to the court. So they found that the student's statements were not protected speech because it was a true threat. That statement, that it was a serious threat to intent to cause harm. So that statement was not considered to be free protected speech. So some reactive situations with this would be interventions and social emotional support for the student who made the threats, then awareness of the severity of the threats, the communication of the protocol in that situation, and then ethics for this particular case, strong communication and leadership skills in the event of the threat or crisis, calm decision-making skills, and collaboration with a variety of stakeholders as well. So looking at the next case, this one is cyberbullying, and the student sued the school district for limiting, again, First Amendment freedom of speech rights. They had suspended her for creating a hate website against another student at school. So we want to consider whether it's a substantial disorder and disruption at school, even if it happens off campus. So this was not the speech a school is required to tolerate and did not merit First Amendment protection because it was causing a substantial disorder and disruption. So reactive things to consider here would be character education, kind of a strong foundation in that area for all of our students, looking at individual interventions and services for the student involved. Proactively, we can, again, consider character education, anti-bully awareness, and then the digital citizenship standards, again, making sure that those are communicated clearly and outlined in handbooks and whatnot. Then professional ethics, we need to model the use of the digital age tools and the social interaction with integrity, fairness, and sound ethics to ensure both social and academic success. And I would say that would align with all of our visions and missions as a school. The next case here, and I kind of chose a common theme because these things seem to be really relevant as far as trends that are going on right now in education and in our district and community. So there's another case with the First Amendment's freedom of speech clause, but this one applies to sexting. So the students brought action against their school district and principal alleging that these First Amendment rights were again violated when the school suspended them from the extracurricular activities because they had posted provocative and suggestive photographs on social media. So again, they wanted to consider if this was in the realm of the First Amendment, so they found the off-campus conduct to be protected expressive conduct that did not substantially interfere with the requirements of appropriate discipline in the operation of school. So they found the punishment imposed to be a violation of the First Amendment. So this case was a little bit differently. So there's also a portion of the student handbook providing that if you act in a manner in school or out of school that brings discredit or dishonor upon yourself or your school, you may be removed from those extracurricular activities for all or part of the year. So it was found to be a little bit vague under the constitutional standards. So again, looking at reactive, rewriting the handbooks to be more explicit, to eliminate that vague terminology, those vague rules. Proactively, we need to, again, communicate the policies and expectations and look at the safeguards that pertain both to students and to staff. So professional ethics, again, character education and clearly outlining those expectations. So you can see that communication is really important across the board, and then also mentoring in this particular area. All right, so the next case is a federal court case and looking at liability of the New York Public Schools, finding that a disabled student had had a valid claim. She'd been denied a free, appropriate public education. So this one really sparked my attention just with my background in special education. They were looking at a failure to remedy peer bullying and harassment based on her disability. So this one started out with the Dear Colleague letter in the Office of Civil Rights Court. So the court concluded that the school should take prompt and appropriate action when responding to bullying, especially when it would interfere with the special education student's ability to obtain FAPE. So FAPE is definitely something that we consider all the time, and we're always looking at ways to ensure that we're meeting that. So reactively reviewing and reviewing the reporting procedures, emphasizing the importance and prompt appropriate action, making sure that every staff member is aware of that and is acting with integrity there. And then training all staff with opportunities to experience what it's like to have a disability. This is something that we have done in our district. We have an awareness day. We have it at our elementary schools that have special programs in them, and it allows students and staff to work through different stations and experience what it's like to have various disabilities. And then also we provide some accommodations for them so that they can see the impact that accommodations may have on helping our students to succeed. So this was one that was really interesting to me. And then professional ethics, just having empathy and understanding and compassion for all students. I'm looking at the standards that I feel like were applicable to this particular module. The technology standard there, establishing policies for safe, legal, and ethical use of digital information technology definitely applies. And then also the ethics and integrity activities. So considering the cyberbullying and the sexting, the other serious kinds of concerns, I feel like these were definitely applicable and with common sense, good intentions, and just ensuring the safety and success of each student. So thanks for watching.